The farmers market has long been a summertime tradition for those wishing to enjoy locally produced food, sometimes mere hours removed from harvest. More recently, in the interest of eating healthier, many are looking to locally produced foods to comprise a larger portion of what they eat. A recent article from Harvard Medical School's Center for Health and the Global Environment detailed a number of reasons why locally grown food may provide greater nutrition than food grown elsewhere and transported a long distance to consumers. Citing less chance of damage and nutrition loss during transport, as well as the advantage that local growers have in making varietal decisions based on taste and nutritional quality, and not merely on durability and yield alone. The article makes a compelling case for why buying local is healthier for the consumer.
The new dietary guidelines that were just released indicate that all of us need to take a look at our plate and make sure that at least half of it is filled with fruits and vegetables. Fresh produce plays a role in that because there's just a lot of variety. As we enter into the spring and summer seasons, we know that there's a lot available that are grown in our own communities. When a producer is choosing the varieties of fruit and or vegetables to grow, they're going to have to take a lot of things into consideration. How early do I have to pick it? How long is it going to be transported? How is the handling of that product going to play an effect so that I can still receive money at market at the end destination point? When we talk about local producers, many of those variables are reduced from the standpoint that local foods many times go from their field to the grocery store or your table within 24 hours. So I don't have to be as concerned about transportation varieties. I can grow those that may have more flavor, more texture, that I can be more consistent. From a nutritional value, 5 to 25% of the nutrients are lost after harvest. So obviously the longer the transportation, the longer it has to go before it reaches market and you as a consumer purchase it, the more value, the more nutrients that we may be losing.
Despite these apparent advantages of locally grown foods, there are certain market aspects that have limited their consumption. Lacking the means to distribute and to sell directly to consumers, local producers have been at a disadvantage when it comes to competing against the convenience of the supermarket.
Some of the challenges for our local producers are just that they may not have as many outlets for distribution. Some of the challenges for our consumers is we're all busy. Who doesn't have lots of things to do on their to-do list? So being able to pull these items all together and overcome some of the challenges where I've got more distributors under one roof and more convenient for the consumer to be able to pick things up all at once is a great way for a cooperative in a small community.
Local Roots got started by a bunch of people from this area who wanted to know more about their food and be more connected to where their food came from and be more involved with the process.
Jessica Eckelberry is the manager of a one-of-a-kind local foods co-op in Worcester, Ohio. Operating in a retail space in the downtown area, Local Roots is breaking traditional barriers that local foods have come up against by establishing convenient business hours, as well as offering a permanent location where consumers can shop.
We realized that from the eater standpoint, it's very hard, even though there's a lot of food that's grown in this area. For somebody who's working a full-time job, it's hard to connect. There were still very limited options, distribution options, for the local farms to connect to the consumers who wanted to eat their food. We saw that the cooperative model was the best way to connect consumers and producers and be able to do all the things that we wanted to do.
Local Roots is a producer and consumer cooperative, which means both can join as members. Producers have to join in order to sell there, but consumers can buy there whether they're members or not. From a consumer standpoint, their joining the cooperative is just a way of supporting the idea.
Get a picture of Bill going into the pen here. He's the only man on the farm with the chickens, but pretty good-natured guy. My name is Jonathan Berger. We're standing amidst Green Vista Farm LLC and Green Vista Farm cattle. We produce 100% grass-fed beef in an all-natural setting. We're not certified organic, but we essentially follow all the protocols of an organic operation. My involvement with Local Roots started, actually one of the charter board members, I guess you'd say, was talking in a conversation and about other things, and talked about what was getting started with a local marketing co-op, and kind of piqued my interest. And so I watched, they had a kind of a meeting indicating, or with the community involvement, you know, letting us know what's going on, potential producers and customers. So I went to that and found out quite a bit more about what was going on, realized that what their goal was is very much in keeping with what we believe to be a good way of marketing it, a pretty direct and direct customer to producer involvement or correlation. So I found out how I could help. When we go into Local Roots to either deliver product, or they'll have a day where it's like a producer day, you know, somebody will be making things. You can be there and get direct feedback from the consumers, and we've done that several times. We want to address any concerns that the general public has, and if they're a legitimate reason, you know, we need to look at that and see that we're doing everything we can to bring products to the market that are what the people want.
The benefits of a co-op like Local Roots extends beyond the larger full-time producer. Part-time growers and gardeners have found a place in the community as well.
We invite all different levels of producers. The larger producers have so much more options of where they can sell. Small producers, you're really very limited on where your options are. So that's what we want to be, as a place, as a springboard, so that small businesses can have a place to get started and hopefully move up and on.
I've always had a garden just for our household use, and then we started to go to a few local farmers markets, and then we came up with the idea of a year-round farmers market. And once that got established, I decided this is a great opportunity to expand my hobby, and we have many gardens in the field out here, trying to expand into producing a lot as a part-time business.
We've had a number of producers who say this has made a difference in their bottom line, or their profitability on their farms. It's given them a market that didn't exist before.
I'm a producer member at Local Roots. I bring in some plants to sell. Later in the summer I'll be selling tomatoes and peppers and probably eggplant there. But the volunteer thing that I do there is organizing and coordinating and teaching gardening classes. I learned about the local food movement through one of the Master Gardener specialization classes. I started taking that 2 years ago. It was a 1.5-year program. We learned about vegetable gardening, fruit gardening from a lot of the state experts, and that group traveled throughout the state learning about gardening and local foods.
What makes us unique is we never take possession of the items. We sell on a consignment basis for over 100 different producers. Producers each come in, they set their own price, we sell it, and we keep a 10% cut of that to then help run the business. The other thing that makes us unique is we are all local, so we don't do any reselling. We're a producers only market of only local products, and for us, local is Ohio. We feel that if we can connect consumers to the producers more easily, and we make it easier for people to eat local food, more people will eat local food, which will then in turn benefit the producers as well. But for the consumers, we're open through the week, evenings, as well as just weekends. We take cash, check, credit cards, we take food assistant programs. We're set up more like a normal store because that's how people are used to shopping. We wanted to be able to fit more into the lifestyle of the average consumer.
Local Roots is making it easier for the people of Worcester, Ohio to select, purchase, and consume locally produced foods. If you're looking for more information on selecting, handling, and preparing local foods, your local extension office is a great place to start. By incorporating more local foods into your diet, not only are you benefiting you and your family, but your community as well.